Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Caffeine Crypto. This episode is not going to be filled with a lot of energy, as some of you are aware, but nonetheless, I welcome you to join me with your favorite caffeinated beverage of choice, coffee, energy drink, tea, whatever it might be, as we go over this week's crypto news. Obviously, Bitcoin made a new all-time high, as I'm sure many of you have seen on crypto Twitter and throughout the ethos. About to sneeze, one sec. Getting it all out of the system as allergy season kicks in full time. Bitcoin sitting around 68,666 market beasts. Ethereum right below that 4K. Ethereum's actually catching up. It's been sitting behind Bitcoin for the longest time. We got a couple other coins that are doing pretty well, like Filecoin or Phil, sitting around $11.23, up around almost 10%. A lot of these coins seeing some deep greens earlier this week, but are now just lightly green, like H bar, so on and so forth. What else we got over here? Nothing too much that I care about. Graph, Maker, Gallia, Axie Infinity, Mana. Renders up 14, almost 15%. A lot of infrastructure or DPINs, decentralized physical infrastructure coins, doing pretty good. TIA, Flow, Near, Mutable X, so on and so forth. Solana sitting around $147, and ADA still stuck at that 75 cents range. Now, looking at the daily chart for Bitcoin, we got 4 days of this week. Let's see here. The week started on March 4th. Okay, the week started on March 4th, and you can see that was a very long candle, right? Similar to what we had back here the following week, so on and so forth. It seems that Mondays seem to be the days that the institutions are obviously in, supply is getting ate up, for Bitcoin at least, and then the altcoins are rallying the following day or later on that week. So we had a very strong candle here on March 4th. Red one here as we retraced on Tuesday, bringing it all back home. We traced pretty far, so if you had a position to engage around that 60K mark, depending on the exchange, you hit that target, and then you engage to climb up the rest of the week as we set forward. Now it's not as popular, it's not as common to have over 5 daily green candles. It is a rare thing. Back here in February, from the 5th all the way to the 12th, we had 6, 7, 8 daily green candles. Over here we had 5. We could have had a full week here. So 7 to 5 daily green candles is a rare thing. Could this happen again next week? It is possible, because as I mentioned before, while I said many of times I feel like we should have been already pulled back, right? We should have already sat around the 50K range, maybe 48K range, chopping sideways until the halving, and then start to make a new all-time high. We did the exact opposite. And the reason that is because everything now is different. I talked about that in a previous video that I released on the channel. And Bitcoin is just doing the opposite of what I expected to do. And that's because the ETFs, the new institutional amount of volume coming in, retail investors are finally getting in, but they're FOMOing into the altcoins and the spec coins and the meme coins and all that kind of stuff. So congrats. I'm interested. Live chat. Are you guys in meme coins? Do you guys take profits this past week? Are you not taking profits? You're just gonna hodl for dear life and hope that meme coin can actually bring you some life-changing money. I know it brought a few people some life-changing money. Not me, but a few people, because I'm mostly into the layer ones, maybe a few L2s, L2s, infrastructure plays, stuff like that, stuff that builds a better world for us all. I have a couple meme coins, I'm not gonna lie. Doge, of course, SHIB, a little bit of Bonk. It looks like everything is 2.0. Bonk 2.0, this 2.0. So dog with hat, it seems to be a strong one. But at $2 per coin, I'm not, buying that with my measly 20, $30. It's not going to do anything. So it's already too late for me to get in. If you got in around the 16 cents mark, congratulations. But yeah, I'm looking at more of the infrastructure plays, the D pins, layer ones, layer twos, stuff like that, or what I would call the ecosystem tokens, like for example, Jupiter, Avalanche, Optimism, so on and so forth. If you're new to the channel, by the way, my name is Vega. The channel name is called SerpentX Tech. I appreciate you stopping by. Make sure to hit that like button. Got some news for you. Going to talk a little bit about the Bitcoin hitting the new all-time high, Groundhog Day. Bitcoin whales not selling, and I want to know from you in the live chat, or if you're watching this in the future, are you selling? As Bitcoin makes new all-time highs, are you selling? Are you hanging on to it? Bitwise CEO or exec warning about the terrible cryptocurrencies that everybody's FOMOing into. Gary Gensler doing Gary Gensler things, talking about how crypto is rife with fraud despite the Bitcoin's new all-time high. Coinbase met with SEC over spot ETF for Ethereum. Solana client developer Jito announces end of mempool function. FBI saying that fraud in crypto has risen 53%, and BBBs are seeing the increased amount of reports for fraud. By the way, if you're going to the BBB to report fraud, it's laughable. They're not going to do anything. They're not going to be able to do anything. If they did do anything, then the company that's frauded you is stupid to put all their stuff on dox themselves and put their personal information out there. Coinbase back 85 million crypto super PAC sets its sight for Senate races as we get ready for the elections. And I'm going to wrap up with Altcoin Daily. We got two videos actually. So one from CNBC and then one from Altcoin Daily where I just want to play a few clips for you. But I thank you so much for stopping by, and I really appreciate you guys hanging out this Saturday. Been a rough week for me and the family, but thank you so much for your support, your thoughts, your prayers, all that good stuff. And I really appreciate every single one of you. So let me say hello real quick to all my live stream viewers and my future viewers. We will get right into it as we watch the markets. So Crypto Pounder 4, Baka Train 07, Canadian Miner, appreciate you, Chris Henley, Crypto Craig, Golden Wolf, Crypto Bedell, Automatic Beats, Gundy, what's up, buddy? Appreciate you stopping by and also commenting on the videos. Tech Man, appreciate you as always. Gina Luca Zazario, I believe I pronounced that correctly. Anyways, son of Rabbit Panda. And yeah, thanks for you guys all hanging out. Let's rock and roll. Chump Change, good morning to you. Thank you, buddy. Hope you're all having a wonderful day and enjoying these new all-time highs. By the way, I know some of you got in a Pepe. Do you take profits? I want to know. Don't dox yourself. Don't share what you have. Don't tell anybody how much crypto you have. Just curious. Just curious. I took some profits. I wish I would have waited a little bit longer. For example, Floki, I sold when it went to the 0.618. I should have waited, but whatever. Anyways, what do we got going on here? So Bitcoin briefly rises to record highs. And I think we might be able, depending on Monday, right? I do think that institutions are going to flood the market again with this low supply, high demand situation. And Bitcoin could rise above the 70K mark again, making a new all-time high. But let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comments or in the live stream. So Bitcoin rallied to a record high on Friday. Remember, it hit a previous all-time high, I believe, on Monday. Monday. And depending on the exchange, or Tuesday, it hit a previous, it hit the new all-time high Tuesday. And then Friday, we broke right past that, definitely hitting over 70K on multiple exchanges, and then obviously retraced, right? And this is coming on the backs of the U.S. spot ETF products and expectations that global interest rates will fall because the Fed is still planning on staying pause for March, right? So that's giving some strength to the markets. I think the traditional stocks also rose a little bit, but we'll see here. Anyways, it rose to a high of 70,105 before quickly dropping and was last trading around 68K, 68.3K. Right now, we're sitting around that 68.15 range. And I think that 70K is going to be a new wall, a new barrier for us to break through. But if we sit right here, if we sit right next to the wall, and then institutional demand hits us Monday, we'll be able to break right through that resistance. It's my speculation. None of this is financial advice, by the way, but either way, Billions of dollars have flown into the ETFs in the past weeks, and the market is getting extra support from an outlook that includes an upgrade to the Ethereum blockchain platform. Don't forget the Dunkun upgrade. Home to the second largest cryptocurrency, blah, 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 the Bitcoin halving, yada, yada, yada. Still, some may say it's hard to shake off the speculative nature of these assets. After hitting a record high on Tuesday, Bitcoin sharply reversed course and fell about 10% back to the 60K level, the high 60K level. Navigating old highs is notoriously tricky, and Bitcoin doesn't tend to burst at the first time of asking. It's true. Volatility defines Bitcoin bull markets in 2024 will be littered with sudden and gut-wrenching 10 to 20% plunges. So big dips and big ups. And Bitcoin's been moving a lot faster than before. And hang on one second. So these dramatic increases, these dramatic drops, the volatility of Bitcoin right now is wrecking bears and bulls alike. It does not care whether you're a bull or a bear. It will destroy you. And if we were to, say, for example, retrace back to this purple legacy line that I have here, which is the 63, basically 64K range, that will be a 6% drop. So that's certainly within the realm of possibility. If we were to go even further and drop down to this yellow legacy line here, which I have right around that 44K range, that would be a 35% drop. So let's say a 10 to 20% drop would be 54K for 20%. 10% would be around 62K. So all within the realm of possibility. And just when you think, oh, I could sell now and get back into it later, every time at least I do that, the market tends to pump and then I lose my opportunity. So it's a catch-22, and I don't trade as much, and I'm not the best TA person out there. I would say go check out, K-Dub. I forgot the guy. Ed's used to have crazy hair. I forgot his name. Tom Crown is a really good one. Entertaining as well. There's quite a few good TA people out there. But either way, the markets enjoyed the nice little pump up, but crypto mining stocks, I guess you could say, are not reaping all the benefits that the current crypto market is. As a matter of fact, while they saw a little bit of a rise on Friday, shares like Coinbase was up to 8.2%, Riot and Marathon were up around 5.1 to 9.6%. They're just not seeing the same amount of love, I guess you could say. Riot blockchain, is it? Which one is it? I don't think that's it. Hang on. Let's go back to Bitcoin real quick. Let's actually go check out Ethereum while we're here. Ethereum, I like to do Ethereum versus Bitcoin. And you can see if we zoom out here on the daily, Ethereum has not been doing good against Bitcoin as Bitcoin continued to run up. But Ethereum against USD, that's a different story. You can see here we had a pretty solid week. Tuesday, obviously the same retracement as much of the market. And now we're trying to get that 4K touch. It looks like we were really close to it on Friday, but we didn't actually break the 4K arena. It might depend on what exchange you're on, but yeah, Ethereum trying to break that 4K, so on and so forth. If we go back to the 4 hour, we had a decent pullback. So yeah, we're just chopping sideways. If you got those grid bots going, you should be looking pretty good with those grid bots as we chop sideways. But we'll see here. What is it called? So coin. Does it take me to the marker? There we go. So let's see here. Profile, blah, blah, blah. So Coinbase Global Inc. up to $256. Damn, I should have got some over here. Charts. Do we have the daily? I guess that is the daily. Yeah. either way, the point I'm trying to make is that the crypto stocks weren't enjoying the same amount of love as the other cryptocurrencies. Groundhog Day in crypto as Bitcoin again plunges, falling new record. Talking about the 70K, the correction, liquidations of leverage derivatives traded reached 240 million during the day, less than Tuesday's 1.2 billion wiped out. So that's a lot of money, right? So that's leverage trades, longs and shorts that were destroyed because of the moves that Bitcoin has been making. And this is why trading with leverage is very dangerous. You gotta be very careful, okay? Sorry, guys. Allergies kicking my rear. Kicking me rear. Moving on. Deja vu all over again for Bitcoin bulls for the second time. And this week, it barely had a few seconds to celebrate a surge to a new all-time high before the prices quickly reversed and went lower. Tuesday's record of around 69.2K rose to about $70.136 thousand dollars, as CoinDesk Bitcoin Index data shows. But within seconds, selling took hold, and less than an hour later, the price had tumbled about 5% to a low of 66.5K. At press time, Bitcoin was trading around 66.9, and now here we are at 66.1. And we can see that nearly 1,000 BTC of sell orders on Binance at OKX, worth around 70 million, pose an insurmountable resistance for further gains once Bitcoin tops 70K. Bull's also running out of steam, so to speak. So get a little help from the institutions. Bulls come back in to help out, and then we blow past 70K. To this point, today's reversal isn't as severe as the action on Tuesday when Bitcoin for the first time this week notched a new higher record. Then the price ended up tumbling as much as 14% and bottom around the 59K. And again, like if you had your grid bot turned on or you had a position in around that 62, 60K, that must have been really nice profit taking opportunity. Even for Ethereum, you know, we touched up here on Ethereum at 38K. We came right back down all the way to 32K. That's a nice profit taking opportunity as we retrace or pushed back up, and then closed out the day around that 35, 36 range. So congratulations for those that took care of it. Meanwhile, Bitcoin whales are not selling despite the pressure, despite the 70K and Bitcoin holdings growth going parabolic. Bitcoin whales are not selling. Are you selling? Are you letting go of your Bitcoin? If not, is there a number? Because I talked about this in my previous video. If you haven't checked that out, Bitcoin is on one by DJ Khaled. Is there a price in your head in which you are selling your Bitcoin? If not, I would say have that price ready to go. Like know what your price target is. 25%, 20%, 10%, whatever you're comfortable with. Do what's best for you. Just have it ready, because we might hit those targets a lot sooner than some people are expecting. But as ever, I'm always cautious, as I always urge everybody, and I would not be surprised if we retraced all the way back down to 42K. I would not be surprised. 42K, chop around for a bit, halving actually happens. 44K, back to 42K, 44K, back to 48K, chop, chop, chop. And then as we lead into the fall, holidays, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, then we start to reverse course and go all the way back up. But we'll have to wait and see how things are going. But if the whales aren't selling, and you're not selling, and I'm not selling, if we just keep doing this, we'll just keep going up, right? Hopefully. I mean, the government's taking profits. The U.S. government, I believe, still has a large majority of Bitcoin, and they did sell quite a bit of Bitcoin. I forgot the actual number, but they're taking profits. I know. Hopefully, they use it to actually repair this country, but they're taking profits. So don't be afraid to take profits. It's okay. It's okay to take profits. It's not as sinful as many people make it out to be. You probably want to spend some of your other assets first. Understandable. But yeah, don't be afraid to take profits, guys. Anyways, this chart here, what does this chart tell me? Bitcoin addresses with at least 1,000 Bitcoin. So the chart of wallet addresses with 1,000 Bitcoin or above is climbing up. I don't think it made a new all-time high yet. The all-time high is in 2022, but we're getting pretty close. And then this chart is Bitcoin whales holding at least 1,000 to 10,000 Bitcoin, 1 year change. And yeah, that is quite a bit. And what's funny about this is the statement, because of Bitcoin supply, not every single person could have 1 Bitcoin under their control. And I'm pretty sure I'm talking to a few people right now that has at least 1 Bitcoin in their portfolio. I'm just saying. Not saying who those people are, but I'm just saying I'm pretty sure I'm talking to some right now. So, yeah, I'm not selling. I'm with you guys. We're like, what's that? Wolf of Wall Street? I'm not selling. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. Go ahead and play that meme for us real quick. Anyways, Bitcoin number of transfers from exchanges to whale entities, right? As outflows from exchanges, they buy it and then they go into these particular wallets that the whales control. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe that some of those wallets are the actual ETFs that are, trying to store it off centralized exchanges. Even though I believe some of those ETFs are using, like BlackRock is using Coinbase, right? Speaking of Coinbase, man, I'm getting very tired of their degraded service crap. They need to get that shit fixed, though. Like, for real. Like, that degraded service junk is pissing me off. A lot of people are commenting on Reddit that they're leaving Coinbase. It's like, if you got all your assets on Coinbase and, like, that's the only place you keep your stuff, you're doing it wrong. You are doing it wrong. Get yourself a hardware wallet, cold storage wallet, whatever. Get that crap off of the exchanges. But, yeah, they need to fix that either way. So we're seeing a lot of whales. We're seeing a lot of cryptocurrency being held by these whales. And I wonder where IBIT is. Does this take me to their share price? No. Let's see here. IBIT. So $39.55. I should have got some a while ago. It only started a few months ago. So $22. $22 would have been a nice place to get in. 23. I wish this was available on like the company that does my company 401k. I wish that was available, but it's not. Yeah. So yeah, Bitcoin's not selling. You're not selling. I'm not selling. Looks like we're gonna continue to go up, at least for the short term. We'll see how long this lasts. We can only go up for so long. Because as I mentioned many times in the past, if we continue to just half pipe crap, the fall is just going to be that much greater. Oh, there's the Bitcoin hash rate. You could see, actually, we made a new all-time high Thursday the 7th. 706, new all-time high for Bitcoin hash rate. And usually when you see the Bitcoin hash rate increasing like this or continuing to climb like this, that's usually a positive indicator for Bitcoin. But let's see something here. Yeah, so this half pipe right here. This straight up, no bueno. No bueno. I don't want to get too overextended early, right? I don't want to blow my load first. Oh my goodness, Dan to Dane. How have you been? I haven't seen you in a hot minute, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you for the 17 GKK. Oh yeah, bro. Can I like that? I'm going to like it. It says like. I can't click it though. I'm going to like it. Do I heart it? There we go. There we go. Thank you, Dan and Dan. Anyways, really appreciate you guys. Yeah, I don't like this straight up, so we need to cool our jets. Moving on, though, as we saw this week, a lot of cryptocurrency or altcoins kind of getting bought up like mad. As Bitwise exec says, many cryptocurrencies are terrible. And I would agree. I would agree. If we go back to coin market cap, there's 2.2. Look in the top left here. There's 2.2 million cryptocurrencies that is just on coin market cap. But that's not all of them. Like, there's a bunch more besides that. Not all of them are good. Okay? Not all of them are good. Some of them are just dead projects that still have a page for whatever reason. Some of them just pump because some moon boy shielded it, whatever. Like, there's only a handful of good use cases and cryptocurrency that does something beneficial. So this exec says here in a quote, "Be careful out there. Lots of terrible projects are getting funded in exuberant bull markets, and many are already trading at crazy valuations. Crypto's natives make money in Bitcoin, feel rich, and then they look for more speculative assets to invest in," says another quote. The founder of quantitative Bitcoin and digital asset fund Capello Investments, Charles Edwards, believes Bitcoin's new all-time high is fairly priced. So he believes Bitcoin should sit around the 70K mark. Furthermore, looks like we got a challenge here of widespread discussion of the surprise of the hype, given that Bitcoin has grown a few 100% from the lows. What catalyzes alt season is not the percentage return of Bitcoin, but the cumulative size, the wealth effect. And since November 2022 lows, Bitcoin's market cap has grown to 1 trillion. Welcome back, brother. I appreciate you, Dan to Dane. I really do. Thank you again. Work. Yeah, please keep the intel going. And be safe, man. Dan to Dane's been out in Ukraine. In that environment, trying to stand up for Ukraine. That many people have forgotten about, by the way, because you don't hear about it on the news anymore, but that's still going on. So appreciate the update. Appreciate the 17 DKK, man. I really do. Be safe, brother. Keep me posted. Much love. All right. So I don't even know what we're talking about. It got me thinking about the whole situation between Russia and Ukraine now, making me mad. Yeah. So what are we talking about again? Basically, be careful. That's basically it. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Just be careful. Because there's a lot of crap coins out there. In December 28, 2023, blockchain security firm ImmuneFi reported that in 2023 saw a total of 1.8 billion lost in Web3 hackers and scams, especially those Web3 hacks where you connect your MetaMask wallet, you sign a message, and next thing you know, you lost all your funds. Be very, very careful. And this is why SEC Gary Gensler comes out with this rife with abuse and fraud. You know, honestly, I think I see more fraud and abuse on Ethereum than I do Bitcoin. So for him to say, you know, I don't know. I feel like he's looping everybody into one group, you know. But clearly Bitcoin's not a security. But he won't answer whether the question of Ethereum being a security. So anyways, moving on. SEC says crypto is still highly speculative, volatile, underlying asset, blah, blah, blah. It's rife with fraud. And that they could still come in and register with the SEC as a broker dealer or whatever they might fall under. He singled out intermediaries that pool the digital assets of investors without giving investors the proper disclosures, saying, "I think that puts the investment public at risk. The investment public at risk. It's rife with abuse and fraud." He challenges basically where I think it's like big investment companies like VCs or something like that he's talking about. The SEC is suing Coinbase and Binance, two big cryptocurrency exchanges. We know about CZ. Gensler also spoke out the long-awaited climate risk disclosure rules to the SEC approved earlier this week. The rules require companies to disclose climate emissions, which I wonder if that's why the survey, that Bitcoin mining survey was shut down, is they wanted to know, like, what is the power usage, yada, yada. Nearly half of the companies fall short on climate plans, energy, mining, transportation. So don't point fingers when the rest of our normal industries utilized on a day-to-day need to step their game up. But yeah, he's not wrong. It is rife with fraud and scams, so just be careful. Coinbase met with the SEC over Ethereum spot ETF. This is a big thing. A lot of people want the Ethereum ETFs to pop off, right? They want it now. Bitcoin's done it now. We're seeing what's happening with Bitcoin. These people want institutional money. And by the way, when this does happen, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe some people take some of their position from Bitcoin to go into Ethereum, thinking that the returns might be a little bit greater, because of the lower number, right? Like we could make more money putting $1,000 in SHIB than we could putting $1,000 in Bitcoin. That's just the mathematical fact. That's not in financial advice or investment advice or anything like that. They're just saying like the gains from SHIB going up with off of $1,000 compared to Bitcoin would be greater. So Ethereum, kind of same thing. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ethereum ETFs are approved of some people reallocate some of their Bitcoin, like a percentage, 2%, whatever, over to the Ethereum ETF. So just be prepared that if a ETF, spot Ethereum ETF goes live, that we might have a pullback or a small one on Bitcoin, or maybe they just allocate a whole other cash flow position or whatever into Ethereum ETFs. But either way, Coinbase met with the SEC to discuss Grayscale's proposed Ethereum ETF. Attorneys Dave Polk, who represents Grayscale, were also present during, according to the documents from the SEC. Various members of the SEC Division of Trading and Markets were present. A presentation from Coinbase was given on the meeting. Though it's not clear what else was discussed, the SEC's meeting disclosure, the agency included Coinbase presentation in its filing. Per Coinbase presentation, shares of potential Ether ETF would be categorized as commodity-based shares, the same as Bitcoin ETFs. Coinbase also said spot markets of ETH are highly indicative of market resilience to fraud and manipulation. Spot markets for ETH are highly indicative of market resilience to fraud and manipulation. Interesting. Coinbase also said it'll have a surveillance sharing agreement in place with the SME to assist in surveilling for fraud and manipulation. However, the meeting may not be a good sign, according to Bloomberg senior analyst Eric. And we'll see here in just a moment. 1 second. And my allergies is going off the chain. So it looks like Eric says here that normally I say this was a good sign, but as far as I know the staff has not given any comments yet to the issuers, which is not a good sign. When they gave comments on BTC ETF, further, there's no court loss hovering over this. So Ethereum ETF basically not likely to happen anytime soon. Maybe, and this is just pure speculation, maybe 2025, which is perfectly fine with me. But I know a lot of people have been, after the Bitcoin ETF, has been pushing for an Ethereum ETF. But we'll see how things go. We still got no comments. But yeah, people working together to try to get that pushed through. Moving on, Solana client developer Jitto announces end of mempool function. Okay, sorry, I'm just watching the chat, making sure shit ain't getting out of control. If you have any questions, comments, or otherwise, tag me or send a super chat. But the developer for Solana abruptly pulled a plug on the mempool functionality, a key part of the tech stack that has nonetheless enabled a spat of costly sandwich attacks on traders. Jitto Labs said in a tweet Friday that the mempool function will go offline tonight. Mempools are the place where on-chain transactions sit before they are added to the blockchain. Solana doesn't have a mempool, but Jitto's method for transaction ordering did. The decision marks a turnabout for Jitto, which just 2 weeks ago unbanned the practice of front running after deeming the restriction unenforceable. Right, front running. We talked about it before. We talked about MEV, or maximum extracted value. You can see right here. And sandwich trading is very popular, and some people have figured out a way to automate it and make lots and lots of money, as much as we might consider that unfair. We are living in a capitalist world, and I've been trying to get my hands on somebody to set up a sandwich trading bot. Now, here's the problem, though. You might have a sandwich trading bot, and there's particular projects out there that have what's called poison pills. And so they wait for these sandwich trades to happen, and then you get poison pilled, you get wrecked, and then you lose a lot of the funds while you were trying to sandwich trade. And when we're talking about sandwich trading, we're talking about, say, for example, we're taking USDC, we're buying some ETH, and then we're immediately taking that ETH, buying some Shiba Inu, taking that Shiba Inu, converting back to ETH, and then taking that ETH and converting it to USDT. And you can do this sandwich trade in a matter of seconds, and it's all like automatic. If that was the intended goal, it will get it done pretty quick, no problem. And so MEV or sandwich trading and front running is not new, but it looks like Jito has disabled it because of some of the attacks that have happened so far. They go on to say here that additionally, we attempted to engineer solutions to reject sandwich bundles, but our solutions became a cat and mouse game with MEV searchers. The statement said ultimately that Jito Labs team views negative MEV, including sandwich attacks, as a drag on the Solana ecosystem, and its absence of an engineering solution. We have made a difficult decision to suspend, the mempool. We remain dedicated to providing an additional revenue stream for validators and stakers, in addition to making Solana the best execution environment for all users. Because you got to think about that too, is the validators, right, and the stakers were making a little bit of change off of those sandwich trades. So now with that turned off and those sandwich trades not available, you're going to lose a little bit of profits as a validator / staker. So it's kind of a catch-22. But yeah, sandwich trading is not new. MEV is not new. Front running is not new. And the Solana Jito announced at the end of the mempool, so no more of that right as of right now. But I'm pretty sure they're going to bring it back. Don't mark my words. I'm just speculating, but I'm pretty sure they're going to bring it back because it unfortunately draws more traffic in. Anyways, crypto-related investment fraud rose 53% in 2023. Now, in 2023, much of 2023 was actually a down, not a big bear market, but I mean, like, if we count from June 2022 all the way to the almost end, basically October 2023, that wasn't exactly the best time. Yeah, we were below 32K, somewhere in that range. So a lot of people that probably lost their jobs during the pandemic or had nothing to do during the pandemic started to turn towards scamming and spamming and spear phishing and social engineering because they could make pretty good money off of it. So yeah, fraud has risen, and I think it's going to continue to rise, especially as you will see in the future with one of my videos. As our technology gets better, it's going to be easier to manipulate somebody or fake somebody out. So this is not surprising. But anyways, in a recent report, the FBI stated that the investments losses involving crypto assets increased from 2.57 billion in 2022 to around 3.94 billion in 2023, representing a 53% increase. So that's basically $4 billion in funds. Meanwhile, the overall amount lost from all investments in 2023 totaled 4.57 billion. This means the 3.94 loss in crypto-related fraud made up approximately 86%. So 4.57 in total fraud in the billions of dollars. Basically, a majority of that was in crypto. And we've heard, and I've talked about this on the channel before, multiple CEOs or organizations or a person that goes by a certain pseudonym online getting arrested because of XYZ. So not surprising in the least. These scams are designed to entice those targeted with the promise of lucrative returns on the investment. That's the biggest problem, is everybody wants to get rich quick, right? If you have a bunch of people, we're all trying to get rich quick, we're just going to scam each other. We're just going to like smile in each other's faces. And I don't like that. I don't like that. If you guys know me, I'm not that type of person. I don't like when you smile in my face and then stab me in the back. Like, you're really going to piss me off, and you don't want to see the bad side of me. But I'm sure I don't want to see the bad side of you. So why don't we just coexist together, live in this world together? So that's just the way the scams, though, work. And I've seen fraudsters and hackers, for lack of a better word, my wife is right here. She's sleeping. That's why it's so quiet and dark as we get ready for later today to go spend time with some fam. For lack of a better word, they fuck you, man. Like, they won't hesitate to screw you over if it's for the benefit of them, right? People will step on you just to get to where they want to go. Whereas some people with good moral compasses and good values would be like, you know what, that's not right. I'm going to earn my position. I'm going to get to where I want to the right way without stepping on you to do it. but not everybody else is like that. The majority of the world, almost the same percentage as the amount of fraud in crypto compared to around the normal fraud cases, 90% of them will step on you and run you over to get where they need to go. So be careful, be smart, know who your friends are, know what an acquaintance is and the difference between an acquaintance and a friend, and keep your enemies close. Anyways, cryptocurrency fraud is now the riskiest scam for consumers, according to the BBB. I don't know why people are reporting stuff to the BBB. They're not going to be able to do anything. But yeah, it's actually kind of funny. If you actually go to the BBB and you find some of these organizations, it is hilarious the reviews they write. But crypto investors have reported losing billions of dollars due to hacks or scams, and a 7-year-old California woman filed a lawsuit this year against Chase Bank after she lost $720,000 to a fraudster in a crypto scam. Rounding out the list of the top financial, can you actually sue the bank because you fell for a fraud? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure Chase is going to win that. But anyways, the scammer is stealing someone's personal information. Victims lost a median of 1,995 in employment scams last year, the BBB said. Online purchase scams were the third highest risk, according to the BBB, where victims typically log onto phony websites to purchase an item, but a scammer doesn't deliver the product. We've seen that all too often, or a fake airdrop, which is becoming very, very popular as we continue to move forward in this world with airdrops. We do have Red Panda mining coming on live here in just a moment, just FYI. But first, let's do a little watching of the CNBC. Bitcoin briefly rises above 70K to another all-time high. This is a 10-minute clip. Bear with me, guys. Don't leave just yet. Red Panda Mining will be going live here shortly. Then we'll talk about how Coinbase Super PAC is trying to get that political arena involved. And we're going to watch this couple sections of this altcoin daily because Kathy Wood here is going to say that her timeline has moved up. And we'll see what that timeline is looking like as far as Bitcoin hitting millions of dollars. Stick around. Let's listen to it. But I'm going to play this for you now. I'm make sure this tab is not muted. It is not. Let me mute myself.
Today, Bitcoin inches above $70,000 for the very first time. The SEC delays a decision on options trading for spot Bitcoin ETFs. And Bobby Zagata of Bitstamp USA reacts to the crypto market's 2024 rally. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Tanea McKeel. Bitcoin hitting another record high today as we head into the weekend. Around 10:30 this morning, the cryptocurrency crossed above $70,000 for the first time, but by noon Eastern, it had come back down to just below $68,000. Ether, meanwhile, crossing the $3,900 mark this morning, while Solana got a boost to $148. We're capping off a huge week for crypto, headlined by Bitcoin's first new all-time high in 2 years. It's up more than 8% in the past 7 days, too. Ethereum still outperforming Bitcoin year to date, and that's also true for the past week. It's up 13% since last Friday. The early advance in Bitcoin may have been driven in part by the latest jobs numbers out today, which showed the unemployment rate ticking up to 3.9%, while employment growth from the past 2 months were revised down. That economic data could keep the Fed on track to cut interest rates later this year, which would benefit the crypto market. However, it could also be attributed to the return of volatility. The Bitcoin Historical Volatility Index is sitting near its highest level in almost a year. And I also want to mention some good news over on Wall Street, specifically for Coinbase. That company stock getting an upgrade at Goldman Sachs from sell to neutral, thanks to soaring trading volume on the platform. Coinbase shares were boosted 5% intraday following that upgrade. Okay, let's talk about the top stories. U.S. prosecutors reportedly plan to fight Do Kwon's extradition to South Korea. The Department of Justice told Bloomberg on Thursday that, quote, the United States continues to seek Kwon's extradition in accordance with relevant international...
This is the creator of Terra Luna. That is the current update on the Terra Luna case against Do Kwon.
and bilateral agreements and Montenegrin law. The DOJ's comments to Bloomberg come after a high court in the country approved his extradition to his home country earlier this week. Both South Korea and the U.S. have been seeking his extradition. Do Kwon's lawyers have fought his transfer here to the States, where he faces civil and criminal charges tied to the collapse of Terraform Labs. Next, the SEC just delayed a decision on bringing Bitcoin ETF options to U.S. markets. The agency pushed back its deadline to give a final answer on a SIBO proposal, which would bring options trading tied to spot Bitcoin ETFs recently listed on that exchange. The SEC also pushed back a decision on options for the NASDAQ-listed iShares Bitcoin ETF. Options are contracts that investors use to buy and sell assets at an agreed-upon price and time in the future. Options have an expiration date where the investor has to decide whether to move forward with the transaction, but they aren't required to buy or sell.
Speaking of which, have you guys seen the thing on crypto.com, the crypto app, where you can, it's kind of like options, right? Like you bet the price is going to be up or below a certain price, and then you can times it by whatever, 2, 4, whatever. Have you guys seen that on crypto.com app?
Sell. SIBO told CNBC back in January that it believes options would bring more crypto-curious investors into the ecosystem and help them mitigate risk. All right, back to markets for our main story. With Bitcoin capturing new all-time highs this week, Crypto World's Jordan Smith spoke with Bobby Zagata, the CEO of Bitstamp USA, for his reaction to the recent rally and his outlook for crypto investors going forward.
All right, Bobby, yet another all-time high for Bitcoin today, crossing $70,000 for the very first time. What's your reaction to this week, these new all-time highs that we've been seeing, and just how quickly Bitcoin climbed this year after last year's lows? Talk about your reaction to all of this.
Well, I'm thrilled. Obviously, so many of us have been living in a very different environment for the last 18 or so months, and I think this is validating for a number of reasons. We've put some of the negative events of the past, some of the bad players in the space have gone by the wayside, and with the ETF approval, of course, there's real credibility for what's going on, and we're seeing that play out. I think it was going to take some time for the inflows for the ETF products to matriculate into the system and into people's psyches, and that's what's
Matriculate the ball down the field. What coach was that? Anybody know? You guys into football? No? Okay. Yeah, so take time for the ETFs to trickle in. We're seeing the funds trickle in and Bitcoin hitting record all-time high, yada, yada, yada. Bitstamp, come buy a Bitstamp. Shill, yada, yada, yada. And that's pretty much it. Okay, cool. That one's done. Anyways, moving on. Coinbase, $85 million crypto super PAC sets its sight on the Senate races. After spending over $10 million in a successful effort to defeat the Democratic U.S. Senate candidate in California earlier this week, a cash-rich super PAC funded by the crypto establishment is setting its sight on a handful of other key Senate races that could determine the balance of power in Congress. The PAC, Fair Shake, will focus on the rest of its efforts this election cycle on 4 U.S. Senate races in Ohio, Montana, Maryland, and Michigan. Fair Shake spokesperson Josh Velasco confirmed with Decrypt. Fair Shake, which has raised over $85 million to date, principally from major crypto players like Coinbase, Ripple Labs, Howowitz, will spend on ads in Ohio, Montana, Maryland, Michigan, yada, yada, yada. In Ohio and Montana are both home to vulnerable Democratic senators up for re-election, and Senate carried by Donald Trump in 2022. Both senators had previously made comments critical of crypto. So we're trying to get more crypto-centric personnel into office, or at least people that are more open to crypto and not going to just regulate it into the ground. That's what the Super PAC is working on. All right, Dennis has been doing a lot of great work. By the way, if you're not following him on Twitter, let's go, Dennis, let's go find him real quick. Porter, you guys need to be following this guy if you're not already. Dennis Porter, check him out. A lot of great people in the space that are fighting for the future of crypto that I would urge you to check out, follow, all that good stuff. Anyways, moving on. Among other considerations, says Velasco, we will evaluate the candidate's leadership on issues important to crypto and blockchain community, the viability of the candidate, the importance of the election, and our ability to impact the race. Now, here's something I want to say out loud real quick. Don't just base your vote on the fact that they support crypto. Look at the other topics or the other key points and what their viewpoint is and what their position is before you go voting for them, right? They might not agree or have your best interests at heart when it comes to other topics or other viewpoints, but they support crypto. So it's a catch-22. So just be mindful of that. Go vote. Don't sit there and complain on the sidelines. If you haven't voted, you don't get to complain. Go vote. Go speak your voice. Go help out. And go support a person that has our best interest in mind. Okay? Moving on. Let's listen to this altcoin daily piece where we have a communications with Cathie Wood and see what the timeline is for Bitcoin's new all-time high or to get into millions of dollars.
Target for Bitcoin is bull case north of 1 million US dollars. So if you had that bull case for more than 1 million USD Bitcoin, has your forecast timeline to reach that price now shortened?
Yes, that target, what we evolved in, it was before the SEC gave us the green light. And I think that was a major milestone, and it has pulled forward the timeline. One thing I will say, right now, no wirehouse, so whether we're talking about Morgan Stanley or Merrill Lynch, B of A, or UBS or Wells Fargo, no platform has approved Bitcoin yet. So all of this price action has happened before they approve it. And so, we haven't even begun.
So what's your timeline for 1 million USD Bitcoin now? And is there perhaps a price target beyond that now?
Yes, our target is above that. We've got a 2030 target. So it's well above that. And with our new expectations for institutional involvement.
Okay, let me translate that for you real quick. Cathie Wood, she might be a little bit more bullish than most, right? Like I like to be centered, right? Bull and bear, be mindful, be realistic, but north of $1 million by 2030. It's 2024, guys. That's 6 years away. So Bitcoin to get to $1 million by 2030. That's crazy. That's crazy.
The incremental price that we assume for institutions actually has more than doubled. So, I don't want to give out any particular prices, but because we don't know how quickly the more independent registered investment advisors in the United States, those platforms are saying, give us 3 months to do our due diligence. The others are saying we need at least 6 months. So, I would put those in the institutional bucket as well.
But in your view, Cathie, all of the factors are moving the price of this in an upwards trajectory.
Yes, indeed.
Hyundai Palisade.
So the wirehouses and stuff like that, like she was mentioning the Wells Fargo, the BFA, Merrill Lynch, stuff like that, hasn't gotten into the trading of Bitcoin, right? It hasn't happened yet. So when those come in, that should be pretty exciting as well. Now let's listen to Gary Gensler, flip-flop as usual, about the crypto in general.
Facing a deadline coming up in May around a spot Ethereum ETF.
It is, Kaylee. You had to get your crypto question in. I do have to ask this question.
Of course, we are now about 2 months into a world in which spot Bitcoin products exist. They have had incredible demand, more than $8 billion in inflows. Now the optimism is Ether spot ETFs are next. Do you not first have to settle the question as to whether Ether is a security or a commodity? Can you answer that first?
Well, Kaylee, again, on any one of these crypto tokens, it's about the facts and circumstances as to whether the investing public is anticipating a profit based on the efforts of others. But we do have filings in front of us I'm not going to comment. I will say this is a highly speculative asset class. One could just look at the volatility of Bitcoin in the last few days. And look, I grew up loving roller coasters. Maybe in my adult years, I don't ride them as much, but you really should be conscious as the investing public that this is a bit of a roller coaster ride on these volatile assets. And then the question is how firm is the foundation of the, you get to the top of that hill, how's the foundation underneath it? And are there cash flows, or what's the use case? For thousands of these tokens, there's about 15 or 20,000 of them. They also may be securities because the investing public is relying on the efforts of some group of entrepreneurs in the middle of these projects.
And would you consider Ether as part of that group that may be securities?
I understand you're asking the question, but again, I'm going to defer on that question.
Finally, guys,
So again, not confirming whether or not Ethereum is a security, just like he did during the congressional hearing, equating. I liked how the conversation started about Ethereum and whether or not an Ethereum ETF is possible in the future, which is obviously still ongoing because they got to deal with the listing, so he didn't want to comment on that. But while the conversation started to talk about Ethereum, he of course transitioned to how it's a speculative asset and not compared it, but brought up Bitcoin instead of Ethereum. So, when he says, how is the foundation of these assets, to me personally, the foundation of these assets are pretty good. When we're talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum, yeah, the foundation is pretty good. Now, yeah, we are reliant upon the ETH devs, right, to do a good job. And we've had many disagreements in the past, but so far, they have hit their targets. Maybe a lot later than we would have liked, but they have hit their targets. Bitcoin's got a good foundation on it. It's the point I'm trying to make. Ethereum has a pretty solid foundation underneath of it. I think an Ethereum ETF will just take Ethereum to new all-time highs. But I know most of you, and let me know in the live chat or the comments down below, do you still have your Ethereum that you mined, right? Are you still hanging on to your Ethereum? Are you not hanging on to your Ethereum? Did you already get out of it? Did you sell it? Like, we don't need to know personal information. We don't need to know how much Ethereum you had, but do you still have something? I have some of my Ethereum that I mined. I still do. I have used some of it to take care of bills and priorities and stuff like that, especially recently. But yeah. Oh, there we go. Red Panda Mining is going live, guys, here in just a moment. But yeah, let me know what you did with your Ethereum. Are you still hanging on to it? Do you have a little bit left, or are you just letting it all go? I appreciate you all hanging out with us today. Thank you again for your thoughts, your prayers, your condolences, and just be safe out there, man. Crypto, this is a wonderful ride that we're on, a wonderful world that we live in. I think DePINs, decentralized physical infrastructure, AI, blockchain all have a major role to play in the future of the world, making things easier, data management, data security. You're going to see a lot of privacy tokens start to pop up, even though there's been quite a few already out there. But yeah, Red Panda Mining is live. I'm going to send you guys on over there. Rabid Mining coming on at 1 p.m. And by the way, I will be doing a possible live stream tomorrow around 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you are up, come hang out. I am not sure if we're going to have the live stream. It really depends on Bits Be Trippin', Mr. Carter, Michael Carter from Bits Be Trippin'. There's a conversation I wanted to have with them, and either we're going to live stream it, so just stay tuned, follow me on Twitter, or keep an eye on the page. Otherwise, I would do a video and release it to you guys as soon as possible later this week. But thank you so much for hanging out. Do me a favor, hit the like button on the way out. Make sure to get subscribed, hit the notification bell to stay up to date, as well as check out additional links in the description to help support the channel and what we do here. And again, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Take care. I'll catch you next one.
You know quantum computers. You know blockchain. But do you know both together? Dynex was the first platform to create a neuromorphic supercomputing blockchain-based algorithm which solves real-world problems. And the best part? Anyone can post a job, whether a company from the Global 2000, a machine learning job, or fintech and pharmaceutical. And if you don't want to program it yourself, get an expert directly at the marketplace. Run the job and be impressed by the fast result.